We're back,
Mm,
back again.
we really are. And it's finale time, baby.
You have a glass of wine, and I am in the same hotel I was in at the season 1 finale when we talked about Lost. So
And
here we are.
yeah, it's truly fascinating. It's also really funny too because Beth has to be super quiet because she is
Yeah.
in a hotel room with paper thin walls. So bear with us on audio levels for this
I'm going to
podcast.
try very hard to be a respectful hotel guest neighbor in the way that I do not respect my neighbors at my apartment where I live all the
Yeah.
time.
I know that we have a lot to talk about today.
We
And I think sorry, when we
You're
get to the
fine.
actual coverage of this episode, I think it's best to just start from beginning, go to the end, because it's a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, I agree. I
And
agree.
and before we get into that, I need to know, how has the trip up to middle of fucking nowhere, New York been?
It's been great to be in the Bermuda Triangle of New York State. I just gone missing. No,
You're literally
it's
on the island right now, but
I
it's set in upper New York.
and what's great about it is like I actually have contact to the outside world, which is how I'm talking to you, which like I don't know how those
Love
bitches
it.
didn't work it out and they're on the island.
Right? Like, come on now.
No, so things are going well. I got to see a lot of my coworkers today, which was nice. We went out to dinner or not dinner to lunch because one of my coworkers had a birthday yesterday. So
Aw.
there was about 8 of us that went out to lunch and we had like a really nice time. And then I was supposed to get dinner tonight with my best friend. It was going to be like one-on-one, but she wasn't feeling well. So I ended up just being responsible and like doing work for a few hours.
Ew. That's fucking
Meh.
lame.
Yeah,
I
I
had
didn't
a
get a lot of work done at work because everyone just wanted to talk to me, which was nice. But
that's
I
I
was
mean
like,
that
I
that's
don't
how
have any
I
work.
feel. That's how I feel whenever I go like fly into the office.
Yeah.
They're always like, time for us to take a meeting, and then the meeting is literally us just like gossiping and like finally catching up after like not talking to another human in person.
It's so good. I mean, that's the thing is like I'm one of the few people. Well, okay, like we have a 45-person division and about 8 of us are remote employees permanently. So everybody else is working all the time and they're seeing each other. And so it's like when I pop into town or anybody else says, they're like, "Oh my God, a coworker with like who's here." And like that's so much fun, like as that coworker
Yeah.
now. Cause I always was the other person beforehand where I was like, "Oh my God, so and so came to town. Let's have a fun time." But it is weird being in a hotel that in the town I used to live before I moved to New York City. I'm like, I
Yeah,
used
that's
to
gotta be
just live
strange.
here. I went to a doctor today to renew my medicinal marijuana. And so he's like, "So where are you living now? Are you still in Canton?" And I was like, I'm in Brooklyn." And he's like, "New York?" I was like, "Yeah."
I drove up just for this appointment.
And he was like, that's exactly what he said. He's like, "Did you drive up for this?" And I was like, "No, I still work for the college and that kind of thing." He's like, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense." So
That's actually
I was
funny.
like, yeah.
Imagine if you did. You're like, yeah, no big
To
deal.
be fair, it does expire in like 7 days. So I would have driven up for this.
Oh, damn. It's like a 6-hour drive, right?
So 6.5, 7, kind of
All
depends.
that I mean, plus you can see your family. So I guess there's like that
Yeah.
caveat to this as well.
Yeah, it was super nice. How's life been out in Missouri?
It's been pretty good. Work has been kind of ramping up.
Okay.
So I've been like really, really busy. I'm doing some experimenting tomorrow. I'm switching up
What
my
way?
stream times
Oh.
because I am really sick of working and then immediately getting in a stream.
I thought you
And
were gonna say, "I'm really sick of seeing the same people in my streams."
no. I want to spend more time with Nigel, and we can't
Mhm.
spend time at night together because
Yeah.
I'm either recording a podcast, editing the podcast, I am streaming, I am
Mhm.
filming a YouTube video, I'm doing stuff at night. So I was like, well, what can I like offset to a different time to like free up my nights.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, how about, because we spend time in the morning, but it's not like often because we don't have a lot of time. It's like,
Yeah.
we'll make breakfast and then maybe we'll watch a show if we have time.
But also morning time is like, that can be nice because you're like waking up together. But I often find, of course, I'm single, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I think that morning time is very sacred for people, like for themselves too, to like,
Totally.
what
That's
am I
how I
going to get
am.
done today? How am I preparing myself for that day? So that's hard to share that with somebody else.
Yeah. And so tomorrow I'm going to be going live at 7:30 a.m. my time, very early. I'm waking up I'm like literally right after we're done recording this, I'm going to bed. So that way I can wake up super early, go live. We're going to go live for 3 hours. We're going to do 30 minutes of coffee time where I sit, drink coffee, chat with people, anyone that's in the stream. We can watch videos and stuff like that.
I'm
And
still
then,
stuck on 7:30
yeah,
a.m. I
7:30 in
never
the
even got
morning.
up at 7:30 a.m. when I had to be at work at 8. Like, I lived 5
And,
minutes from the office. You bet your ass I got up at 7:45.
oh my God, I have to get
Which
like showered and everything before you
I
can do
shower at
anything.
night. Well, in
Oh,
the
see, I
afternoon,
can't.
the evening when I get home from work and after I've worked out and that kind of thing. But
Tonight, I might take a shower before bed. I'm not 100%
yeah.
sure, but basically, I'm gonna stream
Wow.
at 7:30 a.m. We're gonna go probably until like 10:45 before I have to start work, and
Mhm.
then that night, so Wednesday night, all I have to do is just quickly edit this podcast that we're filming right now, and then I can just spend the rest of the night with Nigel and like hang
That's
out.
so
And
nice.
yeah, and even though
Hey,
it's
do you
not
wanna
a
play
lot
video
of
games
time,
tomorrow night just with me? Just kidding.
so it just depends. Like I was just figuring it out. And this will
That'll
probably
be
be
fun.
only a one time a week thing. It's not like
Yeah.
all of my stream schedule is going to change to this, but I'm going to test it out, test the waters. I did a subathon on Saturday and gained like 160 plus subs.
Very cool.
It was really cool, but I had a ton of people at the beginning of my stream show up and say, "Oh my God, I haven't seen you live at a European time in a long time." And so I was like, maybe I should do like a day that is like attributed to like a European schedule because I have a lot of viewers from Europe back when I used to stream in Omaha because I would
Mhm.
stream at an earlier time in
Yeah.
Omaha. And so I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this goes, see
This
if
is
people show up.
I like how you said I used to stream at an earlier time. Bitch, it wasn't 7:30 in the morning.
It wasn't 7:30 in the morning, but it was definitely
I know
like
what you're talking about, though.
2 p.m.
Right.
on
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
CST, which is still like
But that was also
nighttime for
before
Europe.
you had a full-time job in addition to streaming. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to
I'm
hear
just
how
gonna
this
see. And if it
goes.
doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's whatever. But
Hey, at least you try it, you know? And the thing is
yeah.
too is like you can't base it off just one time. Like you're gonna have to do it a few times to see how
Yes.
you feel. And also
I probably
see if
did.
because here's the honest to God thing, you're probably gonna get more of an Asian audience. Because
Maybe.
7:30 in Australian. Because like 7:30 is like 7:30 in at night in like Japan and
That's
Australia.
true. Yeah,
So
that's
you're
very
probably going to
true.
get the prime stuff for on the other side of the world.
And
Um,
plus, like with it, you get Americans in the morning, you get afternoon for Europeans, and then you get people at night in Asia.
exactly.
So I figured, then let's try it. Let's just see what
You know
happens.
what? Jeremy Carey, when aka Just Jeremy, started doing morning streams at like 8 or 9 a.m. Eastern, which is you're going to be going live 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and he said it's amazing, that his numbers are great and that he really enjoys doing it, and for the same
Yeah.
reason he gets to spend some time with his husband. And which is funny because if you talk to him, he'll be like, "Nah, I don't need to see that bitch, whatever." He just like talking about Michael. I was like, but you do.
That's funny. That's
So
funny. No, I feel that. I feel that. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun adventure.
I hope
But
you have a good time with it.
but we have so much to talk about. We need to get
Speaking of
into this
fun
episode.
adventure.
We also didn't do our intro. So hello everyone. My name is Dylan Zahner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan. Lost is my favorite show, but I've never seen The Nanny.
And I'm Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Windeleben, and The Nanny is my all-time favorite show, but I've never seen Lost before, and bitch, I have never seen this finale before.
And it's crazy. So welcome everyone to Hot Mess Moments.
So hot, such a mess, such a moment.
Such a moment. And we're about to get into Lost Season 2, episodes 23 and 24. Live Together, Die Alone, parts 1 and 2. Okay. We have so much to discuss in terms of theories, the developments, the answers we get, the questions we get. We learned so much more about one of my favorite characters, Desmond. And I just need to know your thoughts, feelings, concerns about this finale as a whole. So you can rate both part 1 and part 2. You can rate them separately if you need to.
I'm totally listening. I just dissociated for a second. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. You fully just your spirit left your body. You were thinking about the island or something.
I was thinking about the hatch blowing up.
Which is crazy to think about.
I just realized, like, I was paying attention. I was listening to you, but I looked up at myself just briefly and I was like, that bitch is gone. Oh, that bitch is me.
Oh my
This
God.
is what happens when you've had a busy day. Girl, we have so much to discuss.
We really do.
So I'm gonna just give my rating as one episode, and then I'm also gonna give my MVP, LVP at the end of the episode for just one episode, because I don't feel like you can really separate them out. They're one episode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a 10 out of 10. I mean, it has drama, it has character development, it has great writing for once. You have strong female characters, which you know is a big thing for me.
Yep.
You have twists and turns, you have answers, you have questions, you have people getting hurt, are people dead, you have what the fuck's gonna happen next. Like, oh, chef's kiss. Loved it.
It's so well done, and I can't wait. I literally cannot wait to see your reaction to how they develop these plot lines in season 3, because it's done in such a fascinating way.
I also want it known that we chose the correct time for me to watch these episodes, which is when I was dead ass tired after not sleeping well for a few days and traveling for 7 hours. It was the only thing that kept me from being like, can we please watch the next episode? And like freak out, because I literally passed out right afterwards. And then I woke up this morning and was like, holy shit, Lost though. Like, I didn't have the time or the capacity to like really have it sink in last night.
Yeah.
So and then I had to go to work today. So like, this is the first time I'm really like actively thinking about that, which is why I dissociated a little bit, because I was like, oh yeah, I get to think about this. I haven't allowed myself to.
It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for you to see how season 3 starts. And season 3 is a crazy ride. It is so much fun to see how they build up to season 4, which season 4, oh my God, they do some insane things that literally influence television. Like, it's crazy. But we're talking about season 2 right now.
Yeah.
So you said it's a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
I'm curious if you, okay, so I'm curious before we get into like the stuff on the island. What?
Did you hear that?
I did not.
I was doing this with my neck and it went, it like cracked like you wouldn't believe. And I like really felt it too. Because you know how sometimes you'll like crack your back or your neck and it's like, it sounded worse than it felt.
Yes.
This was like, hello, wake up, bitch.
You're like, hey.
Hello, don't dissociate anymore. Hello,
Just
bitch.
no more dissociating.
Okay.
I need to know your thoughts on Desmond. And his backstory, and Penny and Charles Widmore, which I do want to point out, if you were paying attention, it didn't register right away.
Have we seen him before?
We have not seen Charles Widmore. We have absolutely seen the name Widmore.
Is he one of the scientists that or something
So the
that
Widmore
founded the
name,
Dharma?
the Widmore name is a company that has shown up on a few things. I can't off the top of my head say what it is. I know in season 3 we've absolutely seen Widmore Industries as a company that has shown up in flashbacks and in other aspects.
Okay.
And so you're finally seeing who runs Widmore Industries. It is Charles Widmore. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just like, there's a lot there.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. And then Penny Widmore, who I just love this dynamic. And we see Libby. I forgot Libby was in this episode.
Also, that haircut did her no favors.
Girl, I'm so
What
glad
were
she did
you
that
trying
shit.
to be? Are you trying to be a businesswoman in 1992 in a Meg Ryan movie?
It's so true
What?
though.
What I was so I'm gonna. This is really mean. What I'm gonna say is superficial, mean, and rude.
Say it. She's ugly.
She is.
She's ugly. And you know what? I understand why your husband died now. I'm kidding.
He chose cancer.
That's fucked.
That really is. No. Side note, I was going back and re-listening to our episode with Kristen McInnes. The three of us are fucked. We are fucked.
Oh, we say awful things in that episode.
You were fully like, I hope you break another boyfriend's arm. There was no need for that.
It was just needless violence on my part.
And the best part is Kirsten just kind of goes, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, she just reacts.
Continues on.
I'm just saying things to say them just to get a reaction out of Kirsten.
That is my favorite thing about Kirsten McKinnon. If you guys aren't, I'm just going to do a plug for her right now. Kirsten said what everywhere. Go watch her on Twitch. Her reactions to everything. Watch us play Goose Goose Duck on the weekends and tell me it's not an experience, because she'll be like, I do an impersonation of Kirsten where I'll go, "It's not me," like, and just whine, and she's like, "Beth, I can't help it that that's my voice." She'll do she's amazing. Go follow her. Anyway,
love Kirsten. So Libby. Okay, wait. So Libby, first off, it makes no sense. It makes literally no sense why she's like, "Just take this boat and go." I'm like, what?
Are we? I'm going to ask a question, and you can choose whether or not to answer this.
Okay.
I mean, as is any question I ever ask, in or off of this podcast, doesn't matter. Are we going to see more of Libby's backstory again, or is this just it? You can plead the fifth if you need to.
We are never going to see Libby's backstory ever again.
Why?
You will see her in flashbacks. So I really like how the writer's response to this. And they say, there are some times you will never get the answers to the questions that you want.
And you're supposed to form it in your head.
Yes. And
I'm
so
fine with that.
They were fully writing Libby to know that you always will want to know what's up with Libby, and you're never going to know, because that's also how Lost operates.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So here's what I also, timing wise, she had to be out of the psychiatric ward at this point, hospital.
Yes, she was definitely out of the ward.
So this wasn't the event of her husband passing and that kind of thing that put her in that, because Desmond was taking her boat to go around the world. But that was 3 years prior. Actually, this could have been before. Maybe
it wasn't.
It wasn't,
because this would have happened in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
In order for the timeline to work for Desmond to be on the island for 3 years.
Right.
So this
when was Hurley and her in the...
That was much sooner, because Hurley had not won his money yet and had not
That's
had
what
all
I'm saying.
The unfortunate stuff.
So,
and that
so
was
what I'm saying is that this
years.
memory of hers must have happened before she was in the psychiatric ward then. I had it backwards.
No, wait. What do you mean before? Like her
So
giving the boat to
must have
Desmond
been 2001.
is after she was in the psychiatric ward.
So Hurley and Herbert in the psychiatric ward
Much
pre-2001.
pre-2001. Yes.
Interesting. When did Hurley win the lottery?
That I don't know off the top of my head, but
See, unless
I
this
know
gets
that I know it
confirmed
was
later.
definitely before 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. Because the only reason why I said that was because actually, like, we weren't given specific dates for this. My assumption is that Hurley had been out of the psychiatric hospital for like 2 years. And so with those hospitals, it's not like you're in forever. Like you could be in for a month or a year or whatever. Like those times are not set all the time, right? So what I wondered is if it had been the other way around, where she goes to the psychiatric hospital after this event, I wonder if the guilt of giving the boat to somebody drove her,
and then him crashing
and then,
and then like disappearing basically.
yeah.
I mean, maybe that would. Sorry, this headset's messing up. That would make sense, but sadly, that is not the case with this. The
You and I are just such good writers for each other's show. I'm just saying.
We really are. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Desmond? Desmond's backstory and the whole Widmore conspiracy bullshit. Not conspiracy, but you know what I mean.
I really like Desmond. I think he's a perfect balance of emotion and faith and logic and reasoning and science. So he understands the science. He also blindly he believes, but also questions. I'm a huge proponent. And one of the reasons why, have you ever watched the medium John Edwards?
Absolutely not. You act shocked. Like oh yeah, girl. I have watched him all the time. I have no idea who he is.
John Edwards had a television show in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I can't remember what it was called, but it was some fluffy language. It was like, like,
it's like, oh, mama, I'm gay. And
could you imagine if it was with John Edwards? And that's where Trixie and Katya.
No, it just says Magic Hisbottomous with John Edwards.
I hate all of that.
To make that noise at the end too. It's like it's like typed out. It's like an onomatopoeia.
The way you did it though sounded like a balloon when you get that last bit of air coming out of it and you're pinching the end. Just I hated this. But the whole point, passing over with John Edwards, something like that.
That's a terrible name for a show. I'm sorry.
Well, the whole point is that
just because it's a pun. Just because it's a pun, I hate it.
Yeah. I actually went a couple years ago with my parents and my cousin to go see him. And what I love about him is that he was saying, like, the stuff that he was doing was really incredible, right? But the best part about him was, with anything, whether it's religion or him being a medium, he's a Catholic, like, I mean, all these different things. He was basically like, you have to have a level of skepticism with it. If you blindly believe things, then you'll fall for anything. And if somebody said, I truly 100% believe in you, then you're actually not going to get out what you need, which is you need to have a healthy amount of skepticism and questioning, that you consistently have this dialogue with yourself in order to be able to differentiate what is real and what isn't. And he's like, that might seem weird for me, a medium who's like here to do like a show and all that kind of stuff, to say, but I say that as a means of protection for you, and as a means, and not because he's like, I truly do have a gift. This isn't me swindling people out of money, but I say this because it's important for you to do that. I feel like the whole reason why I bring this up is I think that Desmond has that, where he's like, he questions being in the hatch the entire time.
Yes.
He has this level of willpower, both in terms of like, I'm not going to read this book unless I absolutely have to, which I thought was really cool and beautiful, to the point where I was like, oh, can I have a book like that? Like, I'm so weird. I'm so morbid. I'm like,
You're
oh,
like
what's the thing I'm gonna
Harold
do?
and the Purple Crayon. It's like,
A hungry caterpillar.
yeah.
Um, I just was like, I thought that that was such a cool thing,
Yeah.
especially with the note from Penny in there too. That at the end, that was just like, oh, that was amazing. But there's a certain level of him being in control of his destiny, but also knowing that he doesn't know what his destiny is,
Yep.
that I really like, that you don't see with Locke or with Echo. And you see Locke and Echo, the two faith people, at odds in this
Ooh.
episode
And they
to
are
a
both
literal fault.
struggling. They are
They,
both struggling this
they're
episode.
both crazy about it. They're fanatical about it, right? And it's you see what happens when you blindly believe and you're not willing to listen to anything else from both Locke and Echo. Both bring upon things that literally injure people.
Yeah, he
Like,
could have killed Charlie.
yeah, like that's just, can we actually talk about that very briefly?
About how Charlie nearly died.
How Echo is fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah, a big, stupid, dumb energy here in this episode. Like, why would you grab dynamite, blow it up
first
in
of
a
all,
close encounter, and then not hide behind like a proper, like he had more fuse that he could have done. He could have done like that fuse all around the corner, gotten into
he
the
could have
pantry.
he could have not done it at all.
He could have climbed through the vents,
He
maybe
could
like
have
tried other
recognized
avenues.
that that's a blast door that's not gonna open with dynamite. Like,
Right.
number 1. Number 2, you were in an enclosed space underground. Best case scenario, you
Yeah.
blow up in a fireball. Worst case scenario, everything caves in on you.
Yes.
Metal, all this magnet shit, dirt, all this other stuff, and you suffocate and die or get crushed to death.
Yep. Echo was not thinking logically here. He was thinking faith-based. Like he was like you said, so fanatical about his faith that he's like, this is my mission. I must do this. I have to push this button,
When
regardless if people
Charlie
get in my way.
is the voice of reason in a
Right?
situation, you
Oh,
need to
girl.
evaluate what is going on.
I don't know
Bitch.
how the fuck Charlie finessed his way into not only being the voice of reason, but getting back with Claire at the end. Claire, you're an idiot. And it's not even like Charlie was pressuring her. She willfully, of her own accord and all sound and body, kissed this man after everything that he has done to her. I was like, girl, you're asking for this now.
I am literally filling with rage right now. Out of everything we saw,
Yeah.
that was the most upsetting to me.
It's so
That
stupid.
evoked the most fucking irrational feelings of anger in
Yeah.
me that I literally blocked out of my mind until you
Until
just
this
brought it up.
moment.
Because remember, I went, whoo, turned off the computer, went to sleep, woke
Yeah.
up, worked. What in the fucking hell is she doing?
My only excuse that I can think of is that she's
She better be
horny as
sick.
fuck.
She
I
better
think
be
she's horny
sick.
as I think she's horny as fuck.
Bitch, masturbate.
I don't think she has time with the baby.
Oh, yeah, like Charlie's gonna get her off.
She's into short men that look like hobbits.
Yeah, that's worked out for her. Her fucking baby daddy walked out on her.
That's very true. That's very true.
Claire,
No,
first of all, self-love in multiple ways is better for you.
it's really dumb. I don't like Claire's character here. I don't.
That, you know
She's like,
what? You know
And
what?
she's being
Fuck
stupid.
this. This is a 9.5 episode. Just kidding. I'm just
Just
kidding.
you're like just because of the ending.
I honestly don't think that makes sense for her character at all. What?
I don't think it does either.
How come in
That
an
whole conversation doesn't make
episode
no sense.
where Kate is like pew 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 and Sun's like, yeah, I'm fucking going on the boat too, and I'm pregnant and I don't
Bitch,
give
that
a
was
shit.
hot. That was so hot.
Ugh.
Her just taking the reins, being like, "You need two people to know to sail. Shut the fuck up. I'm going
Also,
with
you
you."
need to be able
Basically.
to translate, and I'm your translation key, baby.
Oof.
Amazing. And then Dr. Cool, what's her name? Dr.
Clue.
Clue. I want to call her Dr. Cool.
Such a cool.
I just
Yeah.
switched up where the L goes. um, like she's powerful. Like you have all these fucking powerful women for
Yep.
once. And then and fucking Penny is also powerful.
Dude, the way that regardless of what her fucking father is trying, her father's constantly putting up these walls. She says, "You know what? I've got all the money in the world. I can fucking find you if I want to find you."
Amazing.
I was like,
On
"Ooh,
top of all of
love
that,
Penny."
Claire's just like, what if I just forgot you tried to like almost drown my baby and like cross
You
all the
wanna fuck
boundaries and you were
me?
100% manipulative and awful to me? What if I just like held your hand and kissed you?
Whatever, you just kissed and then you fucked me right here next to the baby crib. Like it also makes no sense the conversation they have after he comes back and he's just like, what happened? Like Claire's like trying to ask him, and he's just like all aloof about it and doesn't
And
really
she's like,
answer any questions.
silly,
It's
let me
so
kiss you.
funny. Ooh, you're so
Also, she's
quirky.
like, the
Like
sky got violet. I was like, it was clearly white.
it was violet in the sense that the blue turned a little violet, but it definitely was more white than violet. Like, girl, what you
I
on
was
about?
like, I thought she said violent at first, and I went, that actually makes sense. Like a violent sky. I have
Yeah.
seen that like when people talk about storms and such. But then I realized she said violet, and I was like,
Girl, do you know your colors? Like
no wonder you're dumb.
okay, wait. Back to Desmond though.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a lot to talk about, especially when he gets on the island.
Okay, yeah.
And we meet Kelvin Inman, someone that we've known from Saeed's past that used to be a general in the US Army.
And I kind of said this
Crazy.
theory
You did.
when we were talking last night because you said, do you know who that is? Now, look at my hair.
I hate everything that you're doing right now. I need to stop. That was weird.
I feel like a
Dorset. You're giving McDonald's down on Dorset vibes
you know what she
again.
told me? She said, I
think
don't think you need one.
We had the same exact fucking conversation in the season 1 finale. I am pretty sure. In the same hotel room with the same fucking.
I'm not in the same hotel room.
Nope, you're in the same one.
That'd be so fucked if I was also in the same hotel room. Okay, no. So, what were we going to talk? Okay,
Desmond.
My theory about Kelvin. Yes. And this might be something that you're like, no, bitch, I told you no. Stop saying this because it's not true.
Okay, I'm ready.
My theory remains. I don't think Kelvin actually died. I think that he was saved by the others. And then when we hear when Claire gets abducted and we had that whole Claire flashback, they said something along the lines of like, we have to talk to the general. Like Ethan said something like that, or like the gruff guy who like leads the others who had the fake beard. Wow. Also Tom, I guess is his name. They mentioned the general. I think they're talking about him, not in terms of like, oh, we're treating him as a general. I think that's his nickname. And I'm sure he does have a leadership position in somewhat. And my theory is because he actually was wearing like official Dharma Initiative stuff. Yes. He doesn't say why he or how he got to the island. He's just there. And now that we kind of know.
He does say that he signed up willingly to the Dharma Initiative.
Correct. So,
but it doesn't say like how he got here.
Right. That's my point. And so it's like, did he get here and then get recruited while he was there? Or did he get recruited beforehand?
Yeah.
So, and he tells us the science behind the button, which is every 108 seconds, there's such a huge electromagnetic pulse that when you press the button, it discharges a little bit of it so it doesn't build up and just explode,
Yeah.
basically. So it's so weird to me that, like, if he had willingly signed up and he had asked Desmond, "Are you him?" Like,
Yeah, he
clear
said the snowman thing. He said like the
yeah,
snowman. What does one snowman say to the other?
smells like carrots or something like that.
Yeah.
I have a hair in
And
my mouth and I can't get it out. There it is. That was fucking bothering me.
that was actually the second phrase he said. He's like, he's just sat there and was like, I have a fucking hair in my mouth. Kelvin Inman, no, Desmond's just like, I have a fucking hair in my mouth. Kelvin's like, you are my replacement.
And you're like, yeah, is it curly?
Ew. No, I think that's an interesting theory. I'll say that. I think it's an interesting one.
I think I truly do think that they are working for the Dharma Initiative, but I think that the others are other, like, like they're another experiment. And so Desmond's theory then turns into, John, maybe we weren't the experiment here in the hatch. Maybe they were the experiment to see if
Yeah.
you would do the tubes. And we do know that when the group that's going with Michael walks by, they find all the tubes
Yep.
and where they were going. So they
So
weren't
they
going to
were an
headquarters.
experiment. So that
I'm
we
telling you, everything is an experiment that was supposed to be doing something with something else. And I honestly, true to God, I think that the others have been told they're the good guys. What was the name? I can't remember this. There's so many things between, like, it's crossing over with John Edwards, not passing over, it's crossing over. Okay, so between crossing over and so what was the name of the experiment, the psychological experiment they did in, like, the 60s or 70s in the prison system where they told people
Tuskegee?
that sounds about right. I
Yeah.
feel like this is another one of those experiments, right? Where they have told a group of people, you were the good people. And here are all the elements of what makes people good and what makes people bad. And you
Okay.
have to seek out and see if there's anything biological, like in different testing, and if there's anything psychological that makes that so that we can create a human race that is all good. Like, I feel like that is what that's what their mission is.
Okay.
Which is why you have not Henry Gale saying stuff like, "Oh, we're the good guys." And we've heard that a few times. And
Yeah.
we've seen that they're doing experiments on Walt, or, like he was an extraordinary find and all that kind of stuff. And we know that Walt, even at a young age, seems to be expressing, like, potential weird powers.
Yeah. Something's up for sure. And
Something's
they
up.
the others refer to it too. They're like,
Yeah.
he's a very special boy.
Right. So there's just something there. I still do think that this all plays into some kind of, like, purgatory sense thing, this, like,
Okay.
waiting place, because there's no way to escape this island. Like, Desmond has been at sea for a
For
few
two and a
weeks
half weeks, he
now,
said. Yeah.
and he can't get back out.
Do you think
And then they
then
give him specific coordinates, Michael, and
yeah.
to get out. Um, but I don't know if that's a trap or not. So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, my thing. We can talk about this more maybe in the season 2 recap when you're like trying to guess what season 3 will be like. But
Mhm.
like, I guess we can ask now, do you think Michael and Walt get off the island? Like, do you think we're never going to see them again?
No, I think we're gonna see
Okay.
them again. In one of two ways. It's
Okay.
either gonna be they do get off the island, but we see what they're trying to do in order to, because I think Michael will be like, "I need to find a way to save those people."
Okay.
So I think he is going to try to find a way to rescue and get people to that island. But what I don't know is if he's really that aware of the Dharma Initiative, to be honest with you. Because
Yeah, I don't think he knows much.
if you were escaping this whole ordeal, the first thing I would be doing is trying to figure out what the fucking Dharma initiative is and make contact with them.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing I would be doing if I was trying to like save people. Because if I learn that they're fucking evil or like the governments are involved in this, then it's like can't really go to like the government or the police agencies or anything like that, right? Because
Yeah.
this you got to follow where the money is, right? So that's that. So then I'd be coming up with like basically like a little militia group. It'd be a whole thing. But anyway, so
Beth
don't
saves the lost survivors.
yeah, don't fuck with Beth. She's got
Don't fuck with
plans on
me.
plans on
I
plans,
got
bitch.
you.
I got you, bitch. So that's either one direction they can go with it. I don't feel like they're going to do that. I think what's going to end up happening is like they say you're going to get off this island. I think there's another island. I think there's another
Ooh.
island that has other hatches and other things and that kind of thing because
Ooh, that's an interesting theory.
Henry Gale was very particular about we're keeping our word with things. He never said, yeah, you guys are going to go back to your normal life or you guys are going back to the United States. He said, you're going off the island. You promised
Yeah.
that. And he gave him
Yeah.
coordinates. And
He said bearing 352 and he's like you have to stay on bearing 352 otherwise like you can't leave. Like yeah,
right.
you have to go on 352.
Yep. And it's
So it's
also weird
interesting.
that he would say that in front of the other like Jack, Kate, Hurley, all that kind of stuff too, because if they ever escaped,
Yeah, just build a
then they
raft,
know go
make a compass, try to figure that out.
exactly. So I feel like this is an elaborate thing. And I also don't feel like they would give up Walt because it seems like they're very intrigued by him. So I think what
Yeah.
they're doing is sending him to where the Dharma Initiative maybe is actually located, and it's
Okay.
that island. And I don't think it's because they're helping Michael. I think it's because they're like, we're getting you to our bosses because this kid is special and he needs to not be on this island. He needs to go to headquarters. Like, that's what I think it is.
Ooh, okay, that'd be interesting. Um, so we learn about the failsafe, and this is where we're gonna talk about the
Mm-hmm.
hatch. We learn that about this failsafe, this key that can get turned.
It got turned, baby.
It got turned, honey. And we learn, I love that scene when Locke admits he's wrong and he looks like a scared child.
The
Like he
way I laughed so hard when he goes, I was wrong. And
I
I'm
was
like, no
wrong.
shit.
It's like, do you not see what's happening around you? Like, no fucking duh, you're wrong.
I was wrong. Yeah, we're
I'm
fucking aware.
I'm very, very curious because I truly can't remember what his story arc in season 3 is after this event, like the intricacies and like the details about what happens to Locke, or if there even is, because we don't know if Locke, Echo, Desmond have survived because the hatch seemingly blew up because we saw the quarantine tour go on the beach. We know Charlie survived,
Just
but it
walked
did
out.
just walked out like it
Also,
was nothing.
how the fuck does he have hearing already? I know the island has magical
Yeah.
healing powers, but my fucking god, especially if the healing powers is supposed to be the electromagnetism.
Well, that's
That seems
probably
like a
how he
little
healed.
too.
Maybe that's
I
how
was
he
just gonna
healed super
say though that
fast.
I don't know. I think there was too much of it to be helpful. I feel like it would have
Yeah.
gone the other way. Regardless, he literally went from not being able to hear anything and finding echo, and then within 2 minutes, while the thing is whirring, he could just hear fine. I'm like, that's not how that works.
You're like, bitch, please.
That's not how it
Um,
works.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're supposed to believe the three of them are dead.
Okay.
I don't. Um, I the hatch door blew.
Yeah, that shit was way up in the air when it fucking fell. That shit went flying.
I I it's so interesting because Penny is obviously now going to come to this area, right? Because
Like she
she
knows,
knows.
yeah, she knows. Well, what's interesting is she knows to monitor for electromagnetic
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it bears to question, how A, does Penny know about this? And B, that's why I'm really fascinated about is your purgatory theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we think that Penny is in the real world based off your purgatory theory, and she tracks this electromagnetic energy, what what does that mean for everything? Like, I'm just curious, like, about all
Sure.
that.
So I think what they're going to basically try to be able to say is that this electromagnetism thing is actually a way to pull between two different planes in the world, right?
Okay.
So that's how they got the plane to crash, is because it actually it tore that electromagnetism tore apart the plane in like the real world and was so strong it sucked it into this other world, onto this other
Okay.
island. Um, and that's why there's maybe one coordinate that allows them to leave, right? And so what happens in that world when it's so strong could still trigger in like this other, like in the real world. Um, so clearly these Portuguese,
I have no idea what they
guys,
were.
they said they were speaking in Portuguese, so they're maybe Brazilian, I don't know, but they're clearly in Antarctica,
Yeah.
doing the seismographic kind of almost like electromagnetic kind of thing,
They were
and
fucking. You know they were fucking in there.
girl, they missed it. They said they missed it again, bitch. They are doing nothing but fucking down there.
Oh, they're fucking and sucking.
I'd like literally just threw up in my mouth. Um, so they said they missed it again. So obviously the
The
first time
first
they missed
one.
it was when the plane crashed.
Yeah.
And so they
So many
call,
headaches could have been solved
honestly
potentially if they
though.
caught it the first time.
So catch this theory. Are you ready? You're going to catch
I'm
these hands,
ready.
catch this theory. It's going to be great.
I got my Glover's mitts ready.
Okay, ready? So, throwing it to you.
Oh.
I hate us. So I think you're talking about Penny having all the money in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Her father is obviously also like very well connected in all these different kinds of things. Even though, what's her name? Woodmeyer?
Oh, Widmore.
Widmore. Woodmeyer is like a family friend's last name, which is why I keep saying that. Woodmore
Charles Widmore.
Industries
Oh yeah.
is got to be related, I think, to the Dharma Initiative in some capacity, whether he
Okay.
has provided them with funding or if he's benefited from some of their research. I don't know what kind of industry he's in, but if you're talking about rich dude and I hear industry and this woman has access to like these scientists, that tells me that there's probably some crossover there.
Okay.
So if there's crossover, I think that maybe she got some insider information from the team of private investigators or whatever that she was able to hire to learn about this is a phenomenon or this is something that people are doing experiments on that's very hush hush. Why
Okay.
don't you try to figure and then she's just trying to figure out where it is so that she can get there. I
Yeah.
think she's going to get there with a team of people, but then I think she's going to get stuck there too. That's what my theory is with her.
Okay.
Um, which on the one hand makes me go, that definitely means Desmond's dead. Because like, why would they bring her here? And then it's just like a happy reunion. That's not happening.
Okay.
And she's definitely the type that cares way more about having him in her life than all the money in the world. So they would just be like, let's just live on this island, right? So what I think is going to happen is that she's going to be able to bring outside information, but very little, but more so than what they know on the island about the Dharma Initiative to the island, which is going to make people really question different things about what's
Okay.
going on around them. And it might actually unite the others with the plane crash people because they might
That'd
learn
be
some
interesting.
truths.
That would be super interesting. Um, Honestly, if that doesn't happen, I want that to happen because
Again,
I think that'd be great.
again, I'm either
Um,
100% right or I'm just a really good writer. Either way.
I need to know your thoughts
Mhm.
on two very weird occurrences that happened in this episode. The first, a four-toed statue.
Yeah, this tells me well, okay, this island already has some weird ass things, right?
Mhm.
Fucking polar bear, like, it
Yeah,
had that weird ass green bird that flew out of
that
nowhere.
was going to be my second one. The bird that randomly said Hurley, or it sounded like it
So
said
here's the
Hurley.
thing, and
And who knows if it actually did say Hurley? We don't
the
know.
the fucking video froze and skipped at that exact moment when we were
Oh, okay.
watching, which is why I asked, I was like, "Did he say Hurley?" I didn't hear it. So apparently that's what the bird says. So again, if we think about this being like on another plane or something,
Yeah.
it's in the same I feel like this could be just a commentary on like people who pass and we're passing by them and it's like they're like I saw this cartoon once that's like if you have the ground and we're walking right here, those that have passed are walking, but the ground is upside down. So like our feet are touching and they're just kind of going the opposite way. So that we're like we're right next to each other, but we can't see each other. We can't whatever. But every once in a while, like have you ever had this experience? Because I have, where like I've heard someone who has passed say my name. And I'm like, my grandmother, clear as day, has spoken to me before.
That's creepy.
Um,
Absolutely
and
not.
I was trying to go to sleep, but I wasn't anywhere near like being crazy. And all of a sudden I heard Beth like that. And I turned because it was like she was right here in the room. Um,
Mm-mm.
and then another time I heard my same grandmother after she had passed, tell I was really stressed and I was trying to think through things. And she said, "It'll be okay." And I know other people who've had that experience too. I truly do. My personal thoughts and beliefs are that there's so much energy that it can't just dissipate and die when you die. Like that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and there's, tie it into science. I don't care if it's a black hole theory or whatever, right? Like that energy has to go somewhere. And so if you think of it in the way that, many Native American tribes do, you are literally put back into the earth and that energy creates other life and all that kind of stuff, right? You create more oxygen and for the world or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a commentary. This kind of lost thing could be that, and that maybe when he's hearing Hurley, it's his mother or somebody who's desperate to find him in that moment. Um,
Okay.
I think the statue and the polar bears and like all these other weird things could be other things that were just sucked into um, this island or um, could be just weird native things to this island. So like things
Because
that
we don't know
have
how old this island is.
we don't
Like
know
it
how old it is. We don't know the polar bear being what how do we know? Maybe
but,
the polar bear
like
originated on this and they got
the Black
pushed
Rock
out.
is old as hell. So
Right.
we know like things must have been on this island for at least a long time. So we don't know
Mhm.
like how long has this island actually existed, which is very interesting. Like um I remember I remember back in the day the four-toed statue was like a hot topic in
Listen,
like
some people
so
just
many
don't have all their
theories.
toes, so I don't understand why they
That was just like a huge topic. Everyone was so interested to see like what is this statue? What does it mean? Like
Well,
is
4
there
is
a
one of the
meaning?
numbers, right?
It is one of the numbers, yes. So maybe that has some connection.
And it's
Um
50 no, 40
it's
3
4, 8, 15, 16,
16,
23, and
23.
42.
It's 42 feet tall.
That would be pretty crazy.
Could you imagine if it was literal 42 feet? Like there's
There's
42
just
feet.
actually just feet. I love that. That's actually so that'd be so silly. Okay, so we've covered like a lot of like the big secrets. Um, I guess like one last thought is
Mhm.
so we learn obviously the others fess up that they aren't this like he takes off the beard, he admits
Mhm.
it, everything's not real. What do you think is up with the others? Like, do you think they just have like a legit camp like on the other side of the
And we
island?
also
Do you
know
think they
that
live in
from
a
Saeed
hatch?
and we also know from
Like,
Saeed that they have a fake station and those
mhm.
huts were fake and all that stuff because he does like
Do they
the
even live on the
scouting.
island? They might
Which
not even live on the island.
wait, hold on, hold on. I made the comment when we were watching this, and we need to take this moment to talk about Saeed and Jid and Sun are like, "There's the rock," and they are so close to the shore on this boat.
Ridiculous. Like, if
First of
anyone
all,
was in
you
those
don't
huts,
need the
they're seen.
binoculars. It's right there. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know why you need the binoculars. Like,
it's so true.
you're actually probably seeing worse with the binoculars than if you just looked with your naked eyes. So there was that.
Yeah.
Two, if you're trying to do the element of surprise, first of all, him slamming doors open with like a rifle, I was like, that's a moment. Um,
Yeah.
but and he does discover all the stuff is fake or been cleared out or whatever. The, Kate called this and she was like, well, it's like fake stuff. Like, how do we know that that's not fake? And like, Michael's like, no, it was real. And I'm like, Michael, why don't you take a hot moment? Maybe why don't you think about a few things, shall we? What if
Yeah.
they were faking shit for you? So we now know that they have like faked some of the stuff in the medical area. They faked being doctors and all that kind of stuff. They now fake
Yep.
here. Um, it's
Honestly, you know what? This is so stupid. The first thing that popped into my head is Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events where it's like these people that are always actors just pretending to be other like things that they're not. That's the vibe I'm getting from this, where
oh
it's
my
like they're
god.
not doctors, oh, but they're also not natives or like crazy like people that are like living in these huts and pretending to be something that they're not. I just think it's interesting. But
Yeah.
I think we have a lot more to talk about in the season 2 recap where we kind of
Yeah.
talk about each character and like breaking
Yep.
down everything a bit more. But for this finale, give us an MVP and an LVP for both parts. So for part 1, who's your MVP and LVP?
My MVP my MVP is Desmond for both parts.
Okay,
Um
that makes sense.
it's I think it's hard to not give it to him, not just because he acts so heroically and all that kind of stuff, but because he has the right balance of, like I said earlier, reasoning and feeling and
Yeah.
questioning and faith and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, and he provides some answers, he provides more questions. He's a good counterbalance to the characters that are there. And also, MVP for somehow having an unlimited supply of booze. I have no idea where the fuck he got it.
Boy, he
He
was
had
drinking
bottles.
so much. It was
Also,
hot.
but
I don't know
here's the
why. I was
thing,
so fucking hot.
clearly, I think that the island doesn't allow you to actually die of alcohol poisoning because it's like the electronic waves. Because he drank a bottle of tequila and a bottle
Yeah.
of whiskey and a bottle of rum and then a couple bottles of wine. And I was like, you know what? Throw in one more bottle, and that was me on a typical night in college.
Oh my God.
Just
I
kidding.
hate you. But I normally don't find drunk people attractive, but
No, I hate
something
drunk
about
people.
Desmond drinking, I found that so fucking hot.
Also, he either
So hot.
always needs to have his hair up in that little tiny ponytail like he did when he was
Oh,
about to run up the stairs,
yes.
or fresh off a boat for being drunk for 2.5 weeks because
It's
the
so
flow
hot.
was so hot. When his hair was straighter, I was like, mm-mm,
No,
no.
agreed, agreed. Like it needs to be dirty and
It needs to
messy
be
a little bit.
dirty and messy. It was so hot.
Oh.
So yeah. So he gets MVP for the hair alone. Um, that's what we're going for.
LVP.
LVP for the first one, Michael.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He did a shit job at lying.
Shit job. And then he just continued to lie. And I'm like, you're caught, buddy. Like, so there's
Yeah.
that. For part 2, Locke. Although, you know what? Fuck that. Locke and Echo both are getting LVPs here.
We're down. Dual and LVP. I'm here
That
for it.
just was bad. Like,
They're both stupid.
they're so stupid.
Like,
Ugh.
I'm just curious what they do in season 3 if they survive. Like, where do you take those characters
Y'all know
after
that
this
I have
stupid?
been a pretty big Locke and Echo fan. I'm kind of fine with them dying. If that's how they're gonna go out, they deserve it. That
Yeah,
dude fucking did that.
yeah. It was
And
just not
honestly, they're then
smart.
at peace and they don't have to fucking deal with this shit anymore. It's like they failed the experiment and they have to go to hell now. Sorry about it. Bye.
Yeah, have fun in hell. No, I agree. I
GG.
agree. I think they would have to introduce a lot of new mechanics into their story also to like have there be more storyline for Locke and Echo
Mhm.
because like so much of Locke's story in season 2 was the hatch and the big part of Echo's story was finding his purpose.
Can we just talk about
What?
I think they've gotta both be dead. They have to be
Why?
because for Echo, it was like he finally found his purpose and then he dies.
Yeah.
That's just like George
Poetic.
R.R. Martin would be like, "Ugh, he'd be like cranking one out to that, you know, he'd be like, "Hell yeah." Then Locke has the one moment of doubt in his entire life and then
It
dies.
fucking takes him out. Could you imagine? This is the one time his faith is shaken, and then all of a
I
sudden, I'm like,
just
you're dead.
the other time that his faith was shaken was when he was pounding on the hatch door and Boone had died. Now he just took himself out.
Locke, you're such a tragic character.
I want you to know if they are fucking dead, I think it's hysterical. And
It
I don't
is. It
and
would be so funny.
it's so funny and I'm not even mad about it. I'd be like, "You know what? GG, that was fucking good." I'm so like, "Good job."
That shit would be hilarious. Honestly, you will have to wait and see in season 3 to see if they are
Oh,
dead or
man,
not.
2 weeks. It's gonna be
But
sad.
the season 1, I guess we forgot to do this for the nanny, but I'm not going to tell you who the centric episode is about.
We should do that for the recap.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
The last
That's
thing.
true.
We'll do it for both the nanny and for Lost.
But this is going to be exciting. Season 2 finally wrapped up. For those who don't know, we are covering 2 episodes every single podcast. So season 3's finale will show up in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 weeks. We will be covering the finale of season 3, which is wild to me.
So that's gonna be like midway through June.
Damn. That's crazy.
Wait, no.
Before then.
It's gonna be before that. It's gonna be midway through May. Is what I meant.
That's crazy to me.
I'm not gonna lie. I just, in my mind, completely erased the month of April. I went from March to May.
That's crazy to me to think about because then in season 4, we'll finish all of season 4 in 7 weeks. 7 fucking weeks we will finish season 4. And that's the same for 5 and 6.
So oh my God. So we're gonna be done with this series by like November. With the show by November.
Isn't that crazy?
The nanny will take a little longer because
that's just wild
there's
to me.
more episodes. That is insane. I'm here for it. This is
gonna be a wild
pace
ride
that I want to see.
And like seasons 4, 5, and 6, they do not. And even I forgot. No, we'll be done well before then because in season 3, it's a 3-part finale. So like. I forgot about that. So
oh wow. So that's
we're gonna have to do 2 weeks of 3 episodes in order to otherwise that's wow. Okay. I'm anxious already thinking about that. But thank you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed our season 2 coverage. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comments section. We are so excited to start covering season 3. That'll be happening in 2 weeks. So Make sure to watch the first 2 episodes of season 3 if you have not already. Hopefully you enjoyed the spoiler freeness of this podcast. And if you want to talk about Lost, follow me at 8bit Dylan, or check us out at Hot Mess Moments. Beth, where can they find you?
You can find me at AugustaWind11. If you want to talk about the nanny spoilers, you can, of course, DM me there. And I am so excited to do a recap next week, and then make my predictions for season 3. Because let's be honest, when I made my predictions for season 2, I was pretty spot on.
You were. Yeah, you were pretty spot on. I'm curious to
I
see
have
what you're gonna
less
say
of
for
I feel like this has more questions and open-ended than last time. It
Yes.
felt like pretty easy to
This
figure out.
season 3, it's gonna be
May.
if you get it, if you guess, I will be shocked. I'll be like, you're psychic. Like that's I think
I'm
if
John
you can guess
Edwards.
it, you might be John Edwards. You might be crossing over. Thank you all so much.
I can't believe I couldn't remember crossing over.
I can believe it.
I'm no psychic.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you all next week with our season 2 recap. That'll be posted on a Thursday. So, so you won't get an episode this Tuesday. You'll be getting an episode on Thursday. And until then, stay awesome, stay beautiful, you lovely people. Bye.
Bye.